Alex Pereira just dropped a video. In his video, he opened up by saying that he was very surprised with the result, but he thinks that Israel Adesanya maybe was injured going into the fight. Now, if I said this, I'd be coped. So I'm glad someone else said it and not me. Yes, you guys do remember when I made that video saying like why Israel Adesanya lost or the truth behind UFC 305. And in the video, I was prefacing and I was emphasizing that Izzy wasn't throwing low kicks. He threw low kicks in the start of the first round and that's it. And then he just started boxing the whole time. See, my conclusion, or like what I believed happened, I just thought Israel Adesanya fell in love with his boxing. I thought he was having so much success with his boxing that he, just forgot to throw the low kick. But just thinking about that now, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. Like I guess that's a good theory by me. Like maybe he just was boxing so good. But then I started looking back at every single Israel Adesanya fight, and I was like, oh my God, Izzy always throws low kicks. It doesn't matter how good of a boxer he's looking in that fight. His low kick sets up everything for him. But if you remember in this fight, his whole approach was weird. It's almost like he was punching his way into range. Like Izzy usually kicks his way into range and finds his range, and maybe he'll blitz him with the uppercut like he was doing against Victoria and stuff. But this whole time it was just, let me walk forward and firefight him. Maybe it was an emotional fight. Like I said, I remember I made a poll like, is Izzy gonna fight with emotion this fight? And people were saying yes, no, people going mix. And maybe he did fight emotional, but fighting emotional and getting away from your game plan that significantly is crazy to me. Like, I feel like if he were to fight emotional, it would be a little bit... With Costa, he fought emotional, but he saw how he was picking Costa apart with his front leg first. Even though he hated Costa and wanted to kill him, he was picking him apart. And then, when Costa got impatient, he went in, he blitzed. So it was a little bit weird for me, I guess. Looking back at it, was Israel Adesanya injured? He could have been. But like I said, if I said this, I would get so much shit for it because I'm Kenny Okoye. If I were to say it, they would have been like, oh my God, Kenny's being an Izzy fan. So like I said, I'm just glad that Pereira brought this into light because a lot of poetards are out there, a lot of poeton glazers. So they're probably like, oh yeah, he was injured now. He was injured, yeah. My king said he was injured, so he's injured. But the point of the matter is, I think this is something important because if he is injured, and one thing about Izzy, he never makes excuses. First of all, going into the Alex Pereira 2 fight, Israel Adesanya strained his MCL, an injury. He hyperextended that.
Damn. Fuck, it was painful. It's okay. I just don't want anyone to freak out.
And he went into a fight with a severe knee injury, and Pereira was low kicking him to death, and then all of a sudden he showed up on the cage, finished him. People didn't know he was going through an MCL, ACL injury because he doesn't say nothing. He doesn't make excuses. Against the Sean Strickland fight, we all know that he had a hurt back. Now we know he had a hurt back. But after the fight, he literally said he's just not going to make any excuses, and the better man won.
Again, life throws curveballs at you. Thank you. Win or lose, I wasn't going to say much anyway, but right now, I lost tonight to the better man on the night.
Didn't make a single excuse. People like me had to go on Twitter and expose him by dropping footage of him being injured.
I didn't want to do it because on my back I was like, nah, don't be a bitch.
Izzy's not the type to say he was injured going into a fight. And listen, I don't blame him for that. That's just how humble he is as a fighter. People say he's not humble because he dances after finishing people, which is just it's entertaining and what most people do who are fun. I see Max Holloway do it. I see a lot of other people do it when they win fights. Derek Lewis does it all the time. But since Israel Adesanya, it's, oh, you're being such a dickhead. Stop celebrating. Stop dancing. Just win the fight and just say, good job. That's it. But it's just very interesting to me because I when I'm looking at this, it's dude, Izzy's not the type to make excuses. So if he was injured going to the DDP fight, I still think he could have won the way he fought. But it was just a little bit frustrating watching Izzy fight, not his fight. Watching Izzy fight without throwing a single low kick. He threw 9 total low. He went 8 for 9. He's a 99% finish rate on these low kicks. The target was right there. And the whole time in the buildup, I said the key to victory for Izzy, once he beats up that front leg, the blitz is going to be so much more predictable. He's going to get caught. The thing is, he wasn't even throwing any front leg. He wasn't throwing any low kicks. And I was at first I was oh, maybe, you know what I'm saying? cool. The first round he was throwing them a little bit, but not like he threw all his low kicks in the first round, and that's it. After the first round, no more low kicks were even thrown. It was just boxing. So it was a little bit frustrating for me. I was like, why is he just boxing with Dricus Du Plessis? Why can't he just throw something behind it? Because when you get in a boxing fight with Dricus, it's gonna just be who lasts longer, kind of who has the more endurance. And I feel like Dricus, even though he looks tired, it's like, oh, like Dricus tired and then eating low kicks, stumbling his low kick was his legs were right there for the taking, and it's almost frustrating. And it's almost like I wish Pereira didn't even say this. I never want to think this. Like, I hate thinking the fighter's injured going into a fight and they weren't fighting at their best capacity. But it just questions Israel. I know, and if you ask Israel right now, he's gonna be like, no, I'm 100%, because Izzy's not the type to make excuses. But it's just frustrating when if you ask anyone around the world, what's Izzy's best weapon? What's Izzy's best weapon? How does Izzy set up all his stuff? They're going to say low kicks, low kicks, low kicks. Like the way he destroyed Costa's front leg and then Costa blitzed in and he finished him, that was cinema. The way he destroyed Marvin Victoria's front leg, Jared Kennedy, even Alex Pereira and him had a low kick battle, just who can land the more low kicks pretty much. And what's more frustrating about, out of every opponent Israel Adesanya has ever had, bro, out of every opponent, the guy heaviest on the front leg is Dricus Du Plessis. Like, out of every opponent, the guy who's like leaning with his mouth breathing, all the weight on his front leg is Dricus. So it's like the leg was there for the taking. So it's frustrating, dude. And I understand his boxing was looking good. So just imagine his boxing looking that great, how it already looked against Dricus Du Plessis. Now add a low kick into that. Add a low kick into him already piecing and beating the brakes out of Dricus. Just think about how perfect that fight should not have been close. Like, that fight would have been the most one-sided fight in UFC history. And I know they're going to be upset because they'll be like, oh, Kenny, you're coping. No, Pereira brought this into light. So I want you guys to go on Pereira's recent video and say, Pereira, you're coping. I'm actually going to put his recent video in the description because I feel like people actually need to watch this, because Pereira, like, he's been in the octagon with Izzy for the longest times. Like, and there's never been a fight where Izzy never throw a low kick at him. Like, Izzy just throws. It's just a part. It's who Izzy is. And sometimes why people give Izzy a lot of scrutiny. They're like, oh, all he does is low kick. All he does is feint and low kick. Like, he was barely feinting in this fight, and he was barely throwing any low kicks. Sometimes he'll feint the low kick just to go to boxing. But it's like, why are you not letting the low kick go when Dricus Du Plessis' leg is right there for the taking? That's the most frustrating part about this whole fight. And this is like I said, this is one of the big things after the fact. When I reflected, I was like, watching back the fight, I'm like, what am I watching? Like, is this the same fighter? Like, he's boxing well. Yes, he's coming forward well. He's doing all this well. He's just not incorporating his best weapon, which is his low kick. Like, it's almost like Pereira fighting a fight without, imagine Pereira fighting and not throwing a low kick. Just think about this for a second. Pereira just fighting and just swinging left hooks the whole time. Just swinging hooks. You guys are going to be like, wait, what the hell? Why is Pereira not throwing a low kick? Say Pereira's boxing looked good in the fight, so everyone's like, oh yeah, good, great on. And then he gets caught or something later on and gets finished. And then people are going to be like, wait, why wasn't he throwing a low kick? The thing about kickboxers specifically, coming from a kickboxing background, a lot of kickboxers use low kicks to set up their attacks. It's just how they fight. Like, it's almost like a jab for these guys. It's literally like a jab for them. They just low kick, setting up, and then, level change, up, down. That's what they do. And like, Izzy would throw throwing some head kicks, or trying to throw some. I think he threw a couple head kicks. I don't know how much head kicks he threw. It wasn't as much as usual though. But he was trying to throw head kicks or like question mark kicks. But like, it wasn't working. He threw like one or two. But the reason they weren't working or landing, it was like because he wasn't setting up a low kicks. And it's frustrating because I remember DDP was kicking a lot more than him. DDP leg kicked him in that fight, by the way. If you guys didn't know, DDP landed more low kicks. And also, DDP was attempting way more head kicks. If you guys saw that quick head kick DDP would always attempt where Izzy would just barely get his hands up, Izzy wasn't throwing any of that. So in Dricus' head, all he was covering for was, I just got to block these punches coming from me. You know, I just got to block these punches and come with my stupid overhand 1-2, my clubbing hands, because Izzy's not throwing any low kicks. This was probably, like, I bet DDP watched this fight back, like, just blessed, like, oh my God. He would have destroyed my front leg. And DDP even said, and Pereira mentioned this in his video, DDP also said that the leg kicks in the first round was giving him trouble. He hated those low kicks. DDP said, and he only landed 8 on him. And he was like, oh yeah, those low kicks were giving me trouble. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. 8 low kicks were giving him trouble. Izzy's career low in low kicks. And they were giving him trouble. And they threw it in 1 round. Oh, this fight. I hate that I know I hate that I know some of this information now. It's just very frustrating, bro. But I need to get Izzy on this channel for an interview because I need to ask him some stuff. But like, it's like, bro, it was right there for the taking, man. It'd be different if it was someone else, chat, and had their legs so well, they'll never be there for low kicks. Like, Strickland does a good job checking low kicks or like lifting his knee up. Dricus is always so flat-footed because when he blitzes in, he puts all his momentum into it, so he needs to be very heavy on his front leg. And Izzy just, oh my goodness, Izzy just didn't throw. So like I said, I don't know what Izzy's gonna say. I'm sure Izzy's gonna see this Poetan video and he might say something, you know, maybe come out with something or like a laughing. He's gonna be something subliminal if he responds. But I'm curious to why he didn't throw his low kick. And considering the fact that you're saying he was like the healthiest he's been going into this fight than ever, it's almost like, was that just a facade to convince himself? Because he also said he was healthy going to the Strickland fight, and then we all knew he wasn't healthy afterwards because the situations and the videos that dropped after. But it's just frustrating for me. Like, as an Izzy fan, it's like, I noticed it, but like, I just didn't take into account maybe he wasn't healthy. But the fact that, and I saw Izzy limping at the end of the fight backstage. Like, I remember he was limping when he's talking to Eugene, or he was talking to Volkanovski backstage. Volkanovski and Eugene were there. And he was like, he got me, man. But I made history. I never lost 2 in a row. He said like a corny joke like that to Volk. And he was limping. I'm like, he was limping, but he barely threw any low kicks that fight. Like, yes, the Pereira fight, he was limping because he threw a lot of low kicks and ate a lot of low kicks. He didn't eat that much low kicks from DDP, and he wasn't throwing a lot. So I'm like, why are you already limping? Like, it must have been, I don't know what was, like I said, this could just be speculations by Pereira, but Pereira makes a valid point that he literally didn't throw his best weapon the whole fight. So it's concerning for Izzy fans, even Izzy haters. I know Izzy haters are going to be like, oh, who cares if he was hurt? He still lost, blah, blah, blah. And I get it, but like the low kick would have changed the fight. Throwing more than 8 low kicks from Izzy would have definitely changed the fight. If he threw 20, he wouldn't want. DDP wouldn't have a leg to stand on by the second, third round. So like I said, frustrating fight to deal with, but let me know what y'all think down below. Do y'all think Izzy's hurt? Do you think he was hurt going into this fight? That's why he didn't throw the low kicks? Or do you think he just didn't throw the low kicks because for this one fight, he just wants to prove a point where he could just win a fight without throwing low kicks? Let me know what y'all think down below. I want to hear all the theories. That's it for me, though, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.